Hey guys, this is KSP with Tape, and today you join me with episode 9 of Solar Civilization, and today the first launch will be putting a little bit more onto our space station. This is the life support module, because last time the station went up with only about 20 days life support for each Kerbal. Um, but yeah, but anyway, as it turns out, I'd been running this in Kerbal days, which something like 6 hours, and I want to run it in real days. So I think maybe not at the end of this episode, but I think by the end of this episode, I will have put it into normal days, which turns out I have a lot of transfer windows coming up. It does mean I get less launches between windows, but I'm okay with that. So right now, I'm scrabbling together a mission to Juna. It's gonna be tough, but anyway, we've ditched the first stage of our rocket, and now we're propelling ourselves into an intersect with the station with the second stage with our super efficient engine that isn't actually that efficient. But anyway, this is how I tend to do dockings because it's probably not brilliantly efficient because it's a lot of kind of burning at your target, but I kind of get like I quite like doing realistic things and doing stuff like slowly moving up to dock and things. But when I'm doing lots of dockings, I just want to get it over and done with. So this is one of the main places I emit realism because of just ease of gameplay. But we are coming in on our coming in on the station, and you can see in the couple alarm clocks at the top left, our Moho Explorer is 28 days away. If you divide that by 4, you get it's actually 7 days away. So we have the plane change in real time, and you divide it by 4 for real days. But I don't do that by the end of that. By the time I actually change the inclination, no, yeah, that probably made no sense. But yeah, basically I'll be changing the timing soon, as I've already said. But anyway, now I'm going to use this RCS tug to move into Skylab, but it's really terrible tug and it's all imbalanced and it's horrible to control. So I think I'm just going to use the pod we have as a tug. Oh, and now I've switched on the lights, and you can see I actually did do green docking lights, and it lights it up all green. It looks dumb, but I don't care. Also, on top of this, which you may have seen because this is at 4 times Saturday, you may not have, is a Keythane satellite heading out for Minmus because the other one I screwed up. But anyway, we've got a dock with the life support module, uh, all illuminated in green and looking awesome. But yeah, this I've undocked that RCS tug. Um, but it is a little dark now. I'm sorry for that, but that's just how it turned out. But there's green lights everywhere. Turn the lights off. Why did I do that? That was terrible. I think I do turn them on. This is still to 4 times time accelerate because because it did take quite a while, so you don't get to see how precise I was with all my dockings. But yeah, now the lights are back, so you can see some stuff. I do quite like how they look. It doesn't look particularly serious, but it's kind of fun. Bill Kerman, of course, is very excited. This is his first orbital maneuvering. Um, right now in the space agency, kind of like real life, it is a big excitement when you get to go out on EVA and move something, or take your little spacecraft out and move something. But no doubt in the future, they'll be angry that they're having to do droid work manually. Um, yeah, I'd quite like to make some RCS tugs or droids or whatever. But yeah, now it's sunrise, so you can see things a little better. But everything's lit up green, so who even wants the sun when you can have everything lit up green, including the Kerbals? I wonder what will happen when you put a green light on the Kerbals' faces. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty slow even at 4 times time accelerate. So, well, it wasn't painful for me. I was enjoying myself because I do like to do things like this, just nice and slow. And I didn't want to break those solar panels because obviously you don't want to break the solar panels on your station. But anyway, that's docked, and I think we're going to leave the the module there because second. Yeah, because, well, we don't need to relocate it. There's 2 docking ports. It'll be fine. But now we need to deorbit this space tug because, we don't want to clutter up space. We want it to be empty and full of only things we need. And we might as well do the same with this little stage, so we'll use the engine to turn around and deorbit. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move on to the Kethane satellite. It needs to head out to Minmus with its solar panels out, unlike the last one, which I forgot to put the solar panels out, and we lost the Kethane satellite, and that sucked. But yeah, this will be exploring new worlds to see if we can make sustainable bases on them, because that is ultimately my goal, I would think. I don't really have much of an end goal, because I don't like having end goals when I play Kerbal Space Program. I like to just kind of do what I like. And yeah, but this is I suppose if we do have an end goal, it is to put bases places. But anyway, now we need to make a quick inclination change. There you go. And we need to make a quick fine tune, which is not now, but in a few seconds probably. Yeah, this looks like the fine tune. I've kind of cut out all the transferring because well, it's not particularly interesting, and you just see what's actually happening, I guess. But yeah, so we need to align ourselves and move right on out. And oh yeah, I did set an alarm clock, but then this was the thing I did after, because I set an alarm clock, and then I came back to the game, and this was the first thing I did, so the alarm clock was kind of irrelevant. But anyway, we have performed our fine tune, but it's not perfect because well, it never is. So I'll do it manually because I have the skills of manual. Just, well, basically you burn in the direction you want to move your orbit. Orbital mechanics can be complicated, but on a base level it's fairly simple. You basically burn where you want to go. Docking is a very good example of that. Basically you just where with things like docking, you can just kind of do it as burn at what you want to go to, but at the same time, you have to take into account the curvature of the orbit. Obviously, that's kind of what changes things mostly. But anyway, we're putting this in a polar orbit, or a fairly polar orbit, as close to it as I can be bothered to eyeball, so that we can scan the whole planet for Kethane. And we'll ditch that stage. Annoyingly, it will stay around Minmus and frustrate me forever. But then we'll use the RCS to fine-tune the orbit. But a polar orbit obviously gives me coverage of the whole planet because it will be rotating beneath me. But now let's start scanning for Kethane. And almost straight away we find some, which is wonderful, near the equator as well. But anyway, now we're actually going to go to Minmus. We're going to put people on Minmus. We're going to put Kerbals on Minmus, because this ship was actually originally destined for the moon. But I've been there a few times now, so I thought I might as well switch it up. Obviously I'll be going back to the moon. But for now, we're going to head out there with a 3-man pod, the biggest lander we've ever assembled, using my brand spanking new launch stage with in the reusability setup. This is an interesting one, actually. It was timing made me have to burn into a kind of crappy orbit because if it drops below like 20, if the main stage drops below about 20 kilometers, it's deleted. So obviously we don't want that. So I get it into a rough orbit because I'm really wanting to not screw that up. Well, I'm not wanting to lose the Morpheus 3 probe or the main stage, so I just kind of burn early and get myself into a good enough orbit. It's fine, I have tons of Delta V. But anyway, we'll switch to the stage now, and we're coming back. Still at 4 times time accelerate, but I'll slow it down for actual landing. We let ourselves have a bit of fuel. We go through the rigors of Mach effects. We missed re-entry, sadly. And I've already set up the translatron, but forgot to kill horizontal velocity, god damn me. But anyway, we'll start off with that one engine, but we're coming in faster than we did in tests, so that I'm worried right now. I know I'm not going to slow down fast enough. I'm judging my options, so just before the water, I switch on all of the engines, slow myself down, lose the landing legs because of the rapid deceleration, and then switch back to one engine just above the water, and then drop myself down slowly, but still going sideways was my mistake. But that is a soft landing on the ocean. It annoyingly falls over, so but we get to keep the engines. So that is, I'm going to call that a victory. That has proven that I can soft land, and if I do it on land, it won't fall over. So now it's just working on getting it to land. That will be the next task. I'm excited about that. But anyway, we're going to send this thing on out to Minmus. Yeah, it's got a little transfer stage with the Vestra engine, and then the actual landing engine's at I think it's a B9 engine, and it's that really flat pack one that looks really nice. But yeah, it's overpowered for landing on Minmus because it was originally destined for landing on the moon, and that actually takes more delta V because it has a slightly higher gravity. But it's good to have a multi-purpose vehicle, kind of like Orion, the spacecraft NASA are working on now, to take astronauts to an asteroid to kind of train, and then to Mars eventually. Anyway, now we need to do a quick inclination change. But one of the things with going to Mars in a Orion capsule is it's just a capsule. They don't have any extra modules for habitation. So it's a little. I don't know if they thought it through enough, which is coming from me. But anyway, you didn't get to talk about what just happened there, but basically, yeah, I did the inclination change. You can see what happens on screen. I have this impulse to constantly commentate everything, even though it's like, oh, I ditched a stage, and you're like, yeah, I know, I saw that, I have eyes. God damn it, tape, you suck. But anyway, I'm just going to make a few fine tunes. I'll do the inclination change further out, because obviously that's more efficient on fuel. I walked past it, but who cares? It's only space travel. Hunches and guesses, that's how you do space travel. As I always say, because I like to repeat myself. Yeah, anyway, you can see I'm taking some, I've got a God, I always call it a damn temperature scanner. I have a thermometer. There I actually warped way too far because the warp didn't slow down enough, and I actually left that in by accident. But yeah, I just reloaded because I tend not to reload, but when warp's supposed to slow down when you get too close to a planet, and when it doesn't, it kind of annoys me. I do try to cut that out. I just must have omitted that. I'm sorry for that, but I hope you're not too angry that I quick loaded, but I'm sure you'll forgive me. Anyway, we'll circularize our orbit. Actually, usually when I warp too far, I just do it anyway, but that one kind of annoyed me. It's the warp slowing down. It's a kind of a problem, but it was fine. There's quick loading, it'll be fine. Anyway, I'll bring the periaps down there, kind of near the Kethane deposit, but I'm going to land on the lakes because it's easier. I've taken a couple of EVA reports now. It does have the science modules on top, which will be jettisoned, so I don't have to carry any extra mass back to orbit, just for a little bit of extra efficiency. Yeah, but this is a pretty big day for the Kerbal space program. Our first 3-man lander, well, first multiple-man lander, and the first landing at all on Minmus. It's a pretty big day. And they will be staying here for quite a little bit longer, a few days on Minmus. Well, a few Kerbal days. But yeah, that's why the TAC life support day system was confusing me. But anyway, we're going to slow this down to 1 times time accelerate for the landing to see me screw up. God damn it. But I come down nice and slow because I like to do dockings and landings slow just because it looks kind of cool. Don't know what's happening with the frame rates. They've kind of dropped a bit. Well, who knows? But anyway, our crew, Bob Kerman, Franklin Kerman, and Philin Kerman. Philin Kerman becoming a bit of a veteran, actually. Bob Kerman, obviously, the commander, and Franklin, the scientist. We'll take our experiment reports. Yeah, quite a lot of science from Minmus. It's quite a nice place to mine science from. And I have landed quite next to a few biomes, quite close to a few biomes, so I'll have a quick fly over there, I guess, in a bit. We've got tons of life support. You can see the Skylab has 650 days. And that's a lot of Kerbal days, I have to say. That's like, well, if that's 2 years of actual days, that's like 8 years of Kerbal days, so they could stay up there for ages, but they'd probably go crazy and kill each other. Yeah, put a dark sentiment into that. That's real nice, Peter, real nice. Anyway, Bob Kerman is the first to get out. He insisted that he would be the first to step onto Minmus. He was rather angry that Jebediah Kerman was the first to step onto... Wait, no, it was Bill Kerman? I don't know. He was upset that he wasn't the first to step on the surface of the moon. But this will console him, no doubt. Next one out is Kerman. I didn't actually check just then. I think it's Filling. And fall off like a goon. He's just support. He's just there to make up the numbers. I'm sure he's glad I said that. And then walk over, run over even, kind of bounce over. And Franklin next, the brilliant scientist, who really campaigned to get more science on on Minmus, so he will actually be flying over, and he falls over like a goon, even though he has a Kerbal PhD in awesomeness. Yeah, but anyway, he is a scientist, so he will be flying over to another biome with his RCS pack and taking a quick look at some of the surface. Right now he's taking the EVA report and the surface sample, because he knows what to do with them, obviously. But Bob Kerman, he will be the one planting the flag. That is his job. That is the job he campaigned for. And there'll be lots of random switching because I'm an idiot. Oh, no, I'm just checking if it's what biome it is. And it is the Greater Flats. There are the Great Flats, and there are the Greater Flats. And there are some other flats. And flats doesn't sound like a word anymore. But there is also highlands and stuff. And caps lock was on because fine controls. But anyway, Greater Flats Landing. Yeah, there you go. As always, I try to name the biomes so I know where I've been. And first landing, obviously, because it's important to know our history. Right, plaque text, always hard to think of on the fly, but let's see if I can, if past me could think of anything witty. Evidently not. Oh wait, this isn't the moon, is what I will put. Yeah. There you go. Wow, this isn't the moon. Then I correct myself. This isn't the moon. God damn it, I am just terrible. See how awful my spelling was? Almost as bad as my commentary. Anyway, that was wait, this isn't the moon. Kind of the wit marred by the spelling errors. And the fact that it was the least witty thing anyone has ever said, ever. Anyway, Franklin Kerbal, he needs to get back in the pod. Or just be a goon, I guess. Anyway, this should go into 4 times time accelerate soon because I have trouble getting on the ladder because I'm a moron. Nope, still at 1 times time accelerate. Thanks for speeding this up, Peter. Okay, I kind of thought I might as well actually let you watch me fail at ladders. Wait, oh, he has to run back. Wow, yeah. The ladder was... Because the steps on Minmus, you can only take kind of big steps. It's really hard to precision it, so I just end up using the RCS pack. I thought I'd leave that in because of just a testament to how stupid I really am. But anyway, oh, and I need to take a thermometer reading because I forgot to do that. But 40 science points, that's quite nice. But now it's back into 4 times time accelerate. God damn it, I should have done that earlier. But it's already edited, so there's nothing I can do. So I'll grab the science with Filling Kerman? The one I was very mean to. I'm sorry, Filling, we all love you. He's actually he's a pretty good astronaut. He was a fighter pilot for the military, but now he is an astronaut. But Franklin decides he must go to the flats over there, not the flats, the slopes over there. That's actually the nearest biome. That's why I'm checking so much on the map. But that is nearest to us. That's actually the Midlands. He's just adjusting his trajectory, and this is back into 4 times time accelerate because this was a bit of a long excursion. But yeah, I don't want to just briefly glance at Minmus like I did the moon. I will be going back to the moon. I'll even probably be putting a base on the moon because moon bases are fun. But yeah, we're going to spend a few days here. We're going to take surface samples from tons of places. We want to know everything about it. Yeah, that was mad speed. Midlands. More reports. Yeah. 4 times time accelerate. That's kind of like, this is probably what life is like on amphetamines. Just, oh my god, I've got to do this so fast, got to write everything. That'd be really weird being in space on like speed. Imagine floating. That'd be so complicated. God, that'd be awful. Don't get high in space, kids. Just in case you're going to space and there's some guy who's like, hey, get high in space, and you're like, don't do it. That's my tape gaming cares. Anyway, we should probably get back in the pod before I talk anymore. So yeah, we'll get in the pod. And screw it, let's ditch that science module. We don't need it anymore. It will be destroyed. Fired off by one solid rocket motor. But anyway, you join me with the Moho Explorer, which I will now rename Daedalus, because it is flying close enough to the sun that its wings will no doubt burn off. Greek mythology, as I have said in the past. That's probably not how you spell Daedalus, but who even cares? I wasn't going to Google it. You can see how old this probe is. It doesn't even have those articulating solar panels. It's old news. But anyway, it needs to move into position to make its burn. They're the only reaction wheels, the only torque on this is from the pod, unless I switch on that gimbling engine. But we don't want to change our trajectory for 13 days. But yeah, we need to reassign where this is going. The craft actually still has a lot of delta V in it, about 3,000, and this burn is all it's really going to need to do. And then a quick fine tune while flying past Moho. Talking of satellites, there's that. God, I've forgotten the actual names, but Scott Manley did a video where there's a group of scientists trying to recover old old solar satellite. It has something like 150 delta V left, and they want to put it in trans-lunar retrograde orbit, I think it's called. So that's cool. You could check that out on Scott Manley's channel. He can tell you more about it than me. But anyway, that is our burn made, and now we have an encounter for Moho. But we're not very close. We want to get science from down low, near Moho. Kind of sounded like I called Moho a hoe just then. It'll probably hit me as I come past. But anyway, we need to get it pretty low down. I'm not sure how low down, so I'll put it very low down. And just for giggles, I wanted to see how much delta V it would take to circularize, and a lot, about 6,000. So I'll set up an alarm clock and say, this is the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this. You'll probably be seeing that flyby in the next episode, and me frantically building a Duna craft. Anyway, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.